Good evening to all of you, dear students. I hope that you're all doing very well. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, Mr. Shakurullah. So let's start our chapter today. This is the chapter 7. As you know, next week is the due date for assignment. So make sure that next week your assignment is going to be submitted to email by your group leader to my Gmail address that you have received the material of the class from. So this chapter, as you can see, the topic is output and cost. After studying this chapter, this chapter you will be able to distinguish the Islamic jump. After studying this chapter, you will be able to distinguish between the short run and the long run. Explain the relationship between a firm's output and labor employed in the short run. Explain the relationship between a firm's output and cost. A firm's short run cost curve will be explained, as well as the relationship between a firm's output and cost in the long run. And finally, a firm's long run average cost curve. So let's start the whole thing with the one example, the ATM everywhere. Why are banks closing tellers' windows and replacing them with ATMs? So that is a question that you can ask yourself. What is happening nowadays that ATM machines are replacing all of these bank tellers? Why do automakers have unused production capacities while electronic utilities sometimes can't produce enough to meet demand? That is another question that you may see or you may face nowadays. So today, our cost evaluation is going to help us to be able to answer all of these questions. As you can see, and this chapter studies the firm's production possibilities and cost of production. Decision time frames. What is that? The firm makes many decisions to achieve its main objective, profit maximization. As you know, one of the main bottom lines of any business is profit maximization or profitability. So we do anything to be able to reach to this profit maximization. Some decisions are critical to the survival of the firm, and some decisions are irreversible and or very costly to reverse. Yes, the reversibility of the decisions means when you make the decisions, you are not supposed to change it, or if you change it, it's going to cost you so much. So that's why there's another cost load that we're talking about. Other decisions are easily reversed and are less critical to the survival of the firm, but still influence profit. So all decisions can be placed in two time frames, the short run and the long run. So basically we have two main decision-making patterns, the short run and the long run. So as we go further, you can see what's going on. The short run is a time frame in which the quantity of one or more resources used in production is fixed. As you can see, the quantity usually of one or more resources during the short run decision making is fixed. It means we are not really changing so many things. In a short period of time, it's the same. For most firms, the capital called the firm's planned is fixed in the short run. Other resources used by the firm, such as labor, raw material, and energy, can change in the short run. That's another part. You see, not all of the resources are going to be the same. Some are going to be, can you hear me now? Other resources used by the firm, such as labor, raw material, and energy, as I explained just now, can be changed in short run, while capital usually is the same. Short run decisions are easily reversed. What is so special about short run decisions is whenever you want to reverse them or change them or do some amendment, it's possible because very short period of time is going to be affected. But how about the long run? Long run, as you can see, is a time frame in which the quantity of all resources, including the plant size, can be varied. So long run decisions are not easily reversed. The reason is because the moment you reverse them, actually the whole thing will be changed. A sunk cost is a cost incurred by the firm and cannot be changed. So when we're talking about long run decision making, sunk cost is one of those costs that you're dealing with, and the moment that it happens, it won't be changed easily. If a firm's plan has no resale value, the amount paid for it is a sunk cost. For example, just imagine you bought a factory, or you bought all of these machines, and these machines, after being used long term, they cannot be sold. That means the cost that you spend for this basically material is already a sunk cost. You cannot get your money back. Okay, the sunk costs are irrelevant to a firm's decision. As you can see, that is what we usually put them in irrelevant decision making. So short run technology constraints. To increase output in short run, a firm must increase the amount of labor employed. This is how you can increase your output. The only way that in output, in short run, you may have a better result is increasing your output by the amount of labor employed. If you add your labor, most probably you're going to have a better output. Key concept describe the relationship between output and the quantity of labor employed. One is total product, the other one is marginal product, and the other one will be average product. So we're going to discuss all of them today. Under short-run technology constraint, product schedule, total product is the total output produced in a given period. For example, we want to see what will be the product that was done, all the product that was produced in a period of time. This is how the formula is. What is the output in a specific period of time? A marginal product is of a labor is a change in total product that results from a 1 unit increase in the quantity of labor employed, with all other inputs remaining the same. So if you want to exactly see what will be a marginal product of labor, you will see exactly what has been increased in product as a result of employing one labor, another new labor. The average product of labor is equal to total product divided by the quantity of labor employed. As you can see, we don't have the table and page here, so that is for that. To increase output so we are still talking about short-run technology constraints. To increase output in the short run, a firm must increase the amount of labor employed. That is really, really important to be aware of, because simply if you want to get any increasement, as I just explained for you, the only way that you can increase your output will be, mistakenly, we went back to the previous one. So we come back to the one, short-run technology constraint, product curves. Product curves are graphs of the 3 product concepts that show how total product, marginal product, and average product change as the quantity of the labor employed changes. So you can see them here. The total product curve, figure 10.1, which is this, shows the total product curve, as you can see. That for different labor or workers employed, different output is there. The total product curve shows how the total product changes with the quantity of labor employed. So you can see when you have, for example, one labor here, you'll have somewhere around 4 total product. When you have 2, different. As it increases, your total product increases as well. So look at here, the total product curve is similar to PPF. Okay, it's separated, and you can see here in we have this attainable and unattainable. Basically, we were talking about this like this in income when we had the people or customer being able to buy things. So anything under the income curve was possible. Anything beyond that was not possible. The same thing for here. Anything beyond the total product curve is beyond, it's not possible, and beyond that, under that, within that, it's possible. So it separates attainable output levels from unattainable output levels in the short run, as you can see here. Look at here, we are now going to talk about the marginal product curve. As this figure shows, the marginal product of a labor curve and how the marginal product curve relates to the total product curve. The first worker hired produced 4 units of output. Remember that we were saying that marginal product curve will be the amount of total product which is going to be increased upon increase in the labor by 1. As you can see, for first labor will produce 4. But when you go further, when you add 2 labor, your total production goes up to 10. You see, the second worker hired produced 6 units of output, and total produce becomes 10. It can be because of synergy, it can be because they use the same resources, so higher product can be produced. The third worker's hire produces 3 units of output, and total product becomes 3. You see, again, between 2 and 3, we have this much increasement. That will be the marginal product, and so on. So it can happen as a, and then what you get as the average in between, that will be the total product curve. So look at here, the height of each bar measures the marginal product of a labor. So I told you before, the moment that you hire one, how much change in the total product will be, that will be the exact amount that basically that labor contributes to the productions. Okay, so as you can see, for example, when labor increases 2 to 3, which is here, 2 to 3, the total product goes from 10 to 13. So the marginal product of the third worker is 3 units of output, as I explained. To make a graph of the marginal product of labor, we can stack the bar in the previous graph side by side. So as you can see here, if you want to show the marginal product by itself, this is how we see. You see, for first worker, we had 4 total product. For second, it went higher to 6. For third, it became even lower than the first one. For fourth, lower even. Fifth, lower even. So it means the marginal product will be decreased as we are getting more labors after the second one. But from first to second one, it increases. So the marginal product of labor curve passes through the midpoint of these bars, as you can see. So as you can see, if you put the midpoints of all of these bars together, the curve that can be composed by putting all these together will be this marginal product curve. So almost all production processes are like the one shown here and have initially increase marginal return. As you can see, initially marginal return goes high, and eventually diminishing marginal return. As you can see, eventually it goes down. So it means at the beginning, if you increase the labors, you may have increasement in total product and marginal product. But as you keep adding new workers, the marginal product will decrease, as you can see. So, initially increasing marginal returns, as you can see, from this point to this point, we have increasement. When the marginal product of a worker exceeded the marginal product of the previous workers, the marginal product of the labor increased, experience increasing marginal return. And if the second one is diminishing, as I just explained, when the marginal product eventually go less. You see, after the second workers, to third, and third to fourth, fourth to fifth, we have a trend of diminishing marginal return. So increasing marginal returns arise from increased specialization and division of labor. At the beginning, the reason why we have increment in marginal return is because we have this specialization and division of labor. But diminishing marginal returns also arises from the fact that employing additional units of labor means each worker has less access to capital and less space in which to work. You see, by keep adding more workers, you're actually taking the chance for workers to have less opportunity to work. So that causes you to have this diminishing of marginal return, and it's quite obvious. So at the beginning, because of the specialization and division of labor, you will have increasement in marginal return. But as you keep going, because there is less space for workers to work and have access to capital, then diminishing marginal return happens. Diminishing marginal returns are so pervasive that they are elevated to the status of a law. The law of diminishing returns states that as a firm uses more of a variable input with a given quantity of fixed input, the marginal product of the variable input eventually diminishes. So this is the law of diminishing returns. As you can see one more time, as a firm uses more of a variable input with a given quantity of fixed input, the marginal product of the variable input eventually diminishes. So something like a input of new employees and adding to the number of employees or workers is actually a variable input with a given quantity of fixed input, and as we increase it, the marginal product of the variable input eventually diminishes. So look at here, average product curve. Figure 10.3 shows the average product curve and its relationship with the marginal product curve. As you can see, the average product curve at the beginning was 1 and ended up being like this. And as you can see, the same relationship, the same kind of curve happens to average product as well as like marginal curve and marginal return. The marginal product exceeded average product at the beginning, as you can see here. So as you can see, when marginal product exceeds average product increases. So when this exceeds this, actually average product is keep increasing. The moment that average product is decreasing is the time that marginal product is less than average product, as you can see here. So when marginal product is below average product, as you can see here, average product decreases, like here. You see, the moment that this one become less than average product, so average product also decreases. So this point you have to have in your mind. So the moment that average marginal product is more than average product keep increasing. The moment that average product is more than marginal product, the average product is decreasing. So when marginal product, which is exactly this point, equals to average product in this point, average product is at its maximum. So average product will be at its maximum when marginal product and average product is the same. So this is the point. But these two actually cross each other. So the relationship between a student marginal class grade and her or his grade point average (GPA) is similar to that between marginal product and average product. If a student's next class grade is higher than the student's GPA, as you can see, we want to look at this marginal product and average product and relationship between that and student marks. Say if a student's next class grade is higher than a student GPA, this marginal grade will pull the student's GPA average grade up. And if it's lower, it will decrease it, as you can see, down. So it's more or less the same concept. So if the next class grade is going to be higher than the student GPA, this definitely marginal grade will pull up the student's GPA. It's very clear. Like, for example, we have two cores. So far, you got, for example, the average of, if it's out of 100, you got the average of 85. If your next subject is 95, so definitely your average of GPA will go higher. And if it's lower, your average GPA will go lower. Very clear. For example, it's 75, your average will go down. If it's high, your average will go high. Very simple. If the next class grade is the same as the GPA will be the same. This is quite understandable and clear. So to produce more output in the short run, the firm must employ more labor, which means that it must increase its cost. Okay? So because we are talking about having more output in short term, as you can remember, the firm must employ more labor, and that means more cost. We describe the ways the firm's cost change as total product changes by using three cost concept and three types of cost curve. The total cost, marginal cost, and average cost. Like product, that we have total product, marginal product, and average product, we have the same thing for the cost as well. So for cost, we can show it this way. A firm's total cost, we show it with TC, is the cost of all resources used. Total fixed cost, we show it with the TFC, is the cost of the firm's fixed input. Fixed costs do not change with output. You see, for example, the amount that you pay for the plant by itself, the land, the machineries, and so on, won't be changed as you increase the number, because you have to buy one shot all of those things. So as you are increasing your production, you don't change the fixed cost. But total variable cost that we showed with TVC is the cost of the firm's variable input. Variable costs do change with output. For example, the number of product increases, the material you use definitely increases. The number of product increases, definitely the workers that they are working, if the number of them is varying based on their number of production, increases. If not, then it's fixed cost. So total cost equals to total fixed cost plus total variable cost. So basically, TC equals to TFC and TVC. So who says that? Mr. Najibullah Shukur is saying how it decreases. Which one you're referring to, Mr. Najibullah? Najibullah, which one you're asking for? Okay, apparently Mr. Najibullah not viewing us properly. Okay, no problem. Figure 10.4 shows the firm's total cost curve. Now we're going to have all of those discussion that we have for the basically product and cost as well. Total fixed cost is the same at each output. As you can see here, total fixed cost, as we increase the number of output, total fixed cost is the same. It never changes. But total variable cost increases as output increases. As you can see, the moment that you variable cost as input goes up, this one goes up. And we have this total cost, which is the sum of both. The sum of these two, which is this purple, also green, will be this total cost. The TC equals to TFC plus TVC. So the total variable cost curve gets its shape from the total product curve. As this shape for product curve, the same thing goes to the cost as well, because they have the same nature, but this is the cost which is going to be imposed to the company when it's sold. So if you remember, they have the same product curve. The number increase, the whole total cost is also increase. Total variable cost, sorry. Total variable cost gets its shape from the total product curve, as we had it before. Then notice that the TP, total product curve, becomes steeper at low output level and then less steep at high output level. As you can see, low output level becomes very steep. When we go to high output level, over here, less steep. Okay? Less steep here, high steeper, or becomes steeper here. Steep here is not really much, but here is much steeper. Then contrast TVC, which is total variable cost, because at the beginning, as you can see, and higher steep in higher, and steeper at high output level. High output level means, for example, in 15 to 10 to 15, which is the higher output level, the steep is much higher. It's steeper, steeper. So, to see the relationship between the TVC, this total variable cost curve, and TP, total product curve, let's look again at the TP curve, total product. This is the total product curve. Let us add a second x-axis to measure total variable cost. Add another axis, another x-axis, and now we're going to look at the cost. Let's see how it works. A worker costs $25. Two worker costs $50. And the worker two x-axis line up. So as you can see here, the first worker 25, second worker 50, and as you go up, the cost also. So we can replace the quantity of labor on x-axis with total variable cost. When we do that, we must change the name of basically here. It is now the TVC curve. So, but it is graphed with cost on the x-axis and output on the y-axis. You can see now. See what happens? So we draw the graph with the cost on the y-axis and the output on the x-axis. And you got to TVC curve drawn the usual way, as you can see. So, but the TFC curve back in the figure. So, and the TVC to TFC to TVC, and you got the TC curve. As you can see, this is how we can come together from this to the other one. This is how basically they draw the each of these curves. So what is this marginal cost? Marginal cost is the increase in total cost that results from a 1 unit increase in total product. So like total product that we have, a marginal product that we have, so the marginal product of the increasement in product when an additional employee was hired, the marginal cost will be the total cost that results from 1 unit increase in total product. Over the product, over the output range, in increasing marginal returns, marginal cost falls as output increases. And over the output range, with diminishing marginal returns, marginal cost rises as output increases. So that is key. We have the same thing, the same concept of total cost, total. So average cost. Average cost measures can be derived from each of the total cost measures. Average fixed cost can be by itself, can have its own average, as it is total fixed cost per unit of output. Average variable cost will be total variable cost per unit of output, and average total cost will be the total cost per unit of output. So if you actually divide the whole total cost on the number of a product, we get average total cost. You have the total number of average, the fixed cost divided to the number of products, you will get average fixed cost, and the same thing on average variable cost. So figure 10.5 shows the MCs, AFCs, ABCs, and ATCs, as you can see. So cost dollar per each, here is sweater. As you can see, as you increase producing, the cost is reducing. So average fixed cost will decrease as the number of output increase. The average fixed cost is a U-shape, V-shape, ABC, which is average variable cost is a U-shape. So it's at the beginning, the moment you increase more, you produce more, it decreases, but it will start again increasing. Average variable cost falls to a minimum and then increases, as you can see. Falls to the minimum here and it increases. The same thing happened to average total cost as well. You see at the beginning is high, then it becomes lower in the future, and it will be the minimum at a certain point and it start again. The MC or marginal cost here is very special, as you can see. So the marginal cost was the cost that you're gonna have per unit output being increased. So you see, everything is increasing to the point, and then it starts increasing. So where the here is nice, you can look at it. Where AVC or average variable cost is falling, is here. The average variable is falling. MC is below ABC. MC, which is this, is below ABC. Is below ABC to the point that MC past ABC, then ABC starts increasing. So where ABC is rising, MC is above ABC. I just told you here. The moment that the average variable cost past the MC curve and increasing, MC is more than ABC. Means marginal cost is more, that's why the average VC is increasing. The same thing like before. At the minimum ABC, average variable cost, MC equals to ABC. MC, which is this pink one, and ABC are equal. Similarly, when ATC is, which is average total cost, is falling, average total cost is this. When it's falling, MC is less than ATC. But the moment that these two reach each other here, and MC has started being more than ATC, ATC has started increasing. So when ATC is rising, MC is above ATC. At the minimum ATC, MC equals to ATC. The minimum of ATC, minimum of ATC, MC equals to ATC. Why the average total cost curve is U-shaped? So we are now going to talk about why average cost curve, that the one that we showed you so far, total cost curve is U-shaped. As you know, the AVC, which is average variable cost curve, is U-shaped because initially marginal product exceeds average product, which brings rising average product and falling AVC. And on the other side, eventually marginal product falls below the average product, which brings falling average product and rising AVC. That causes the AVC to go first down and start increasing. So ATC here is U-shaped because of the same reason. As you know, ATC is the sum of AFC and AVC. So ATC become also curve, beginning diminishing and rising simply because of the same reason that we just explained for AVC. So cost curves and product curve. The shapes of a firm's cost curve are determined by the technology it uses. The marginal cost is at its minimum at the same output level at which marginal product is at its maximum. So it's very clear. So when marginal product is rising, marginal cost is falling, as we just explained over there. The moment that marginal product is rising means we produce more, the output or marginal product or the product output goes increased when another new workers are added. The marginal cost means it's going to be less. Then we have a better profit as well. So our product and revenue increases, so more definitely profitability also is increased. AVC is at its minimum at the same output level as average is maximum. As you can see, these are all different way of saying the same thing. If you understand the previous, this basically linear curves and the relationship between them, all of these next one, they can be easily understandable. Okay, as we had it just now. I was explaining just now the firm curves and so on. So look at here. On the shape, it's much easier to understand what's going on. If you look at that, just the reading, it will be really difficult for you to simulate it. So whenever you want to understand this type of arguments, better to look at the figure. So short run cost shows this relationship. Look at here. The top one, we're talking about marginal product, and we're here talking about marginal cost. The moment the marginal cost increases, marginal product increases, marginal cost decreases. The point that marginal product is in maximum, marginal cost in the minimum. The moment that marginal product is decreasing, marginal cost actually increases. So now you can see it's much easier to understand. The same thing goes to AP. Average product, when it's increasing, average variable cost decrease. The point that it's actually meets it's in minimum, average product is in maximum, and the moment that they pass each other, AP is decreasing, that one is increasing. Very simple. Rising MP and following MC, rising AP and following AEC. Falling MP and rising AC, the one that I just explained for you, and this two. In these certain points, actually, the shape starts changing. For example, at the beginning, marginal product big to the maximum, marginal cost to minimum. Here, marginal product هست 80 marginal product equals to average product. Yeah, marginal cost equals to average variable cost. So shift in cost curves. The position of a firm's cost curve depends on two factors. These usually help you to have different cost curves. If you have better technology, definitely you have less cost. Prices of productive resources also important. If you have cheaper productive resources, definitely your cost is lower. You look at the technological change influence both the productivity curve and the cost curve. An increase in productivity shift the average and marginal product curve upward, and the average and marginal cost curves downward. There you can see if you have better technology, less cost, better product, and if the technology advance brings more capital and less labor into, fixed costs also increase, but variable cost decreases, which is in total again we will have total cost decreases. So in this case, average total cost increases at low output level and decreases at high output level. So changes in the price. So again, you have to see this on the figure. It will be much easier to understand. So when you're talking about the prices of resource achieved, cost curve, an increase in fixed cost shift, the total cost shift as cost, an average total cost ATC curve. So look at here, and the figure will be much easier. Although we don't have it now, I try to explain here. An increase in a fixed cost shift, the total cost PC, an average total cost ATC curve upward, but does not shift the marginal cost NC. Exactly the same argument that we just had, and now we're talking about the impact of actually resources. If the prices of resources are going lower, definitely that will help us to save more money, less cost, and so on. And there's an increase in a variable cost shift, the total cost of PC and average total cost ATC. So the same thing, an influence on NP will happen as well. So far we have been tackling different short-run costs. Now let's look at the long-term costs and see how it affects the whole thing. In the long run, all inputs are variable and all costs are variable as well. So we don't really have anything fixed. The production function. Behavior of long-run cost depends upon the firm's production function, which is the relationship between the maximum output attainable and basically, okay. So we're talking about the production function. The behavior of long-run cost depends upon the firm's production function, which is the relationship between the maximum output attainable and the quantity of both capital and labor. So you see, the higher the capital and labor, and definitely that affects the function of the production. And you in long run, actually, we don't have anything fixed. So everything is going to be variable. The marginal product of capital is the increase in output resulting from a 1 unit increase in the amount of capital employed, holding constant the amount of labor employed. So you can have the same thing for capital as well. The firm's production function exhibits diminishing marginal return to labor for a given and site, as well as diminishing marginal cost. So I'm trying to show you this on this labor. That will be much better to see. Look at here. This is ATC, or average total cost, is the curve for a plant with a one knitting machine. If you ATC2, which is average total cost, is the ATC curve for a plant with two knitting machines. You see, you have two knitting machines. Average total cost have a lower minimum, and it takes much longer to increase. So you see, in higher output will reach the minimum, and in higher output, also average total cost tends to be increased. But if you add the third knitting machine, the same thing again happens. Average total cost keep decreasing, the higher number. So with a higher number, we have the minimum, and after that we will have increasement. You see, this is how it is. It's much better to understand all of this argument over the graph rather than trying to read it, because in reading you have to simulate it all. That will be difficult to understand. It's very understandable now. The number of knitting machines or machineries is increases, so the average total cost also tend to have different minimum and different results. You can see average total cost here for a plant with 4 knitting machines, the same pattern, but the difference is the minimum total cost also increases, because we are minimum total cost in second machine was released somewhere here, but the minimum average total cost is started picking up. So in the fourth one is way higher than the third and the second one, but the second one is lower than the first one. So you can see the factor of adding new machineries and resources, how it increases the average total cost over the time and by the higher number. So this is a long run cost. So the long run average cost curve is made up from the lowest ATC for each output level. We want to decide which plant has the lowest cost for producing each output level. Let's find the least cost way of producing a given output level. Suppose that Cindy wants to produce 13 sweaters a day. So if you want to have 13 sweaters a day, means output here, all right, between 10 to 15. Which number of definitely knitting machine will give you the lowest possible outcome? As you can see, with the with the first and second, yes, the 2 you may get something the lowest, which is here. Get here. 13 sweaters a day cost 7.69, which at somewhere here, so 13. If you have 2 machines is here, you have 1 machine is higher. If you have 4 machines, is the highest. You see, so which one is the one that you are supposed to take? As you can see, 13 sweaters a day cost 6.80 each on ATC, which is this having 2 knitting machine. With 2 knitting machine, we have the least ATC. So that shows that most probably that is the right choice for us. As you can see, when we increase that, 13 sweaters a day cost 6.8 on 2 knitting machine, it will cost 7.69 on 3 knitting machine. You can see here. 3 knitting machine and 9.5 on 4 knitting machine. If you remember, this ink one was the 4 knitting machine. So, if you want to choose, which one you will choose? 13 sweaters a day cost 6.8 each on ATC. That shows the minimum least cost way of producing 13 sweaters a day. The best idea is for getting the best cost, which is lowest average total cost, is better to have the 2 knitting machines running. So this is how you have to come up with the best actually results. So long run average cost curve is the relationship between the lowest attainable average total cost and output when both the plant size and labors are varied. The long run average cost curve is a planning curve that tells the firm the plant size that minimizes the cost of the producing the given output range. Once the firm has chosen that plant size, it incurs the cost that correspond to the ATC curve for the plant. So you can look at here. We were talking about different average total costs with different number of knitting machines, and as you can see, we have different minimum, and also we have low cost plant A, low cost plant 2, and low cost plant 3, 4, and as you can see, LRAC, which is the long run average cost. At this point, in all of these points, actually you have the minimum. No, so you have actually the least cost in when you're changing the machinery, all right? From 1 to 2 to 2 to 3 and 3 to 4. So you will least cost plan is 1. Least cost plan is 2. Least cost plan is 3. And least cost plan is 4. This is how the whole thing is going to be. So this blue one is going to give you the lowest possible in any situation. See? So as you can see, the lowest at the beginning. So it's better when you have when you're producing from 0 to 10, one machinery is the best. As you see, from up to here is one machinery, but when you change, then one machinery is not a good choice anymore. From 10 to 18, it's better to use this 2 machineries, as you can see. Because 2 machineries between 10 to 18 give you the lowest average cost. If between 18 to 24, it's better to use 3 machineries, this one. But between these two, it gives you the lowest ATC, and more than 24, you better use 4 machineries because it gives you the lowest ATC. Okay? That is how the long run average cost, LRAC curve is. That is the best way to show how the long run average cost can be. So, the economic and this economy of scale, you know all economy of scale are features of a firm's technology that lead to falling long run average cost as output increases. We usually have this: if we produce more, average cost will decrease, so we may have more profit because this economy of scale. But we have to make sure this is not more than enough. So then this economy of scale happens. It means after more than enough, you increase the number of production, you may end up having the cost increases rather than increases. So this economy of scale are features of the firm technology that lead to rising long run average cost as output increases. As you can see in the previous picture, economy of scale shows that as you increase producing, your cost decrease. But from this point 18 onward, when you go for more machineries, actually you have this economy of scale because average cost will start picking up. Okay, this is what we are going to say. The economy of scale is from 1 machineries up to the 10, and then you produce up to 18 units. But then more than 18 units, as you start, even up to here, the minimum, which is 15, is the time that economy of scale happens. The moment you go more, this economy of scale happens because as you can see, this is the minimum in this point. After this, the actually average fixed total cost is a solid increase. So that is this economy of scale. So constant returns to scale are features of a firm's technology that lead to constant long-run average cost as output increases. So look at here. This is the point that we were explaining just now. This blue one, the sharp blue, is actually the long-run total cost. And you can see, look at here, up to 15, as I exactly explained for you, is economy of scale. Because as you produce more and you add to your machinery, average total cost decreases to the point that average total cost starts picking up or increase. That means you are adding more output and our average total cost increases. So that means this economy of scale. Okay, guys? That means this economy of scale, and that is the point that this economy of scale actually happens. So a firm's experiences, economic of a scale up to some output level. Beyond that output level, it moves into constant returns to scale of this economy of scale. Minimum efficient scale is the smallest quantity of output at which the long run average cost reaches its lowest level. As you can see, the lowest level for us is here. That is the basically what we call minimum efficient scale. If the long run average cost curve is U-shaped, the minimum point identifies the minimum efficient scale upper level, the one that we just showed you. So one more time, if I want to show you that, it is this, as you can see. This is the minimum average long run average cost. That is the exactly the point that we call minimum efficient scale. And if it's as you can see, long run average cost is a U shape, the minimum point identifies the minimum efficient scale output. You can see here it's a U shape, the whole thing. Minimum point shows the minimum efficient scale. So this chapter was all about this cost, long run, short run, average, fixed cost, average variable cost, and average total cost, as well as product by itself, marginal product, total product, and so on. It seems very bit complicated if you want to just read it, but if you look at the graphs and you try to understand the graph, that will be much easier to figure out. So let me know if there is any question. Okay, some of these things for yourself to be able to understand all of these concepts in one hour, you're supposed to tackle everything. You won't be able to explain everything very much in detail, but for you to understand, try to maneuver on these graphs, right, in the reading part. When you understand the graphs, most probably you will understand the uh, the whole graph as well, the whole concept as well. You don't really need to read those texts because some of those texts are a little bit misleading. So the best idea will be looking at the graphs and understanding the graphs. So graphs are going to be really helpful. Mr. Najibullah, I have done this at the beginning of the semester. If you haven't received it, please ask your friend to kindly send it to you, forward to you whatever I have sent. I have sent it on the first session of the class. So again, as the assignment issue came up, for all of you, one more time reminder that at the first session of the class assignment, I explained it at the beginning that you have to, I sent it to all of you. You have to go and check your email. And what was that? I even discussed it in the class. And another thing that I've done was send it to you all. So if you didn't receive it, please ask your friends that they have received it. Send it to you. I have sent both assignment and PowerPoint slides. This is the project. For those that are sent it, please share it. I have sent it to you, but again, click here for those that you might forget. Like an executive summary of what you have learned as a group in the course of covering first 7 chapters and how you're going to apply it to your career. Requirements, your essays should be no more than 10 pages and not less than 8 pages. Font type is Times New Roman and font size is 12. You need to use practical and real applications, and imaginary and fake data is not acceptable. Each group should not exceed 5 members and not less than 4. Each group should have a group leader, and the group leader will be in charge of assignment submission to the lecturer. Assignments are due by week 8, which is next week, and please email it to me at this by group leader. Notes: assignments will be scored by practicality and authenticity of the essays. Late submissions for 1 week will cost 25% of total assignment mark, and the late submission which is more than a week won't be accepted. So this is all basically details that you need to know for your group project. This is Mr. Shakurullah. You will ask him for the detail. This is the detail. I have sent this as I told you before, but again I share it with you. You can go through this again and see what's going on. As you know, all of the group leaders next week have to send it like the previous semester for your own good to get your. Mr. Najibullah, we are not supposed to do that. At the beginning of semester, I told you to do so. This is the deadline that we already fixed at the beginning. Do your best to be able to do it. That is what we at the beginning talked about and we kind of agreed on. So we are not going to extend the due date. Any other questions about the assignments? As I explained for you before, we have something called the Robinson rules. No matter how many gigs you will be given, human being, not necessarily you or a specific person. 80% to 90% of human beings tend to do it at the last week. So no matter how much time you have, Robinson rules will take you to the last week. So why not you fix it and do it on the right time? Okay, Ms. Nadia is saying no question. Guys, I expect you to read this slide by yourself. By the way, that you don't really have exam, but for your understanding the whole concept of economy, just coming to the class and reading the slides and listening to the lecture is not going to suffice. You have to be able to go through these by yourself to be able to understand the concept. That's for a better learning. All of these concepts are complicated. This is a very, very major tough course. Most of the students in BBA or international business or other branches of business or MBA, they're going to have difficulty in this course. It's not a course that you can deal with that like leadership or electronic marketing or things like that. So if your understanding in the class is not as before, that doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with you. That has to be taken care of by you going through the slide and try to reconfigure everything by yourself to be able to digest the whole concept. So that was an additional explanation for you and for those that they may be wondering why these concepts are more difficult or sometimes very difficult to understand. So if you don't have any other questions, I will see you all next week. Please make sure the same day you will send me the assignment. As I told you, just group leader is supposed to send it. Send it to my Gmail address that I put here for your own good. And your assignment won't be missed. I remember Miss Nadia has the problem of sending the email mistakenly and she had the problem. So this time, make sure that this is not happening, Miss Nadia. And the rest of the groups and members are going to do the same thing as well. Okay, thank you all for attending the class today. Have a great night and see you next week with another chapter. Bye.